Hi everyone, this is HM&S video number 29 and you're most welcome for it. Today we want to see how we can do calculations in Microsoft Word. In most cases, people prefer doing their calculations in Microsoft Excel, then they copy it and paste it in Microsoft Word. But also in Microsoft Word, you can actually do calculation direct from Microsoft Word. And today we are going to see how we can do that. We shall see how we can do calculations in Microsoft Word and also how we can do cell references in Microsoft Word. Let's switch on to it and we see how we can do calculations in Microsoft Word. Now, most of the calculations in Microsoft Word is actually done on tables. Last video we talked more about tables in Microsoft Word. You can watch our previous video, HM&S video number 28, then you get to know more about working with tables in Microsoft Word. Let's see how we can do calculations also in Microsoft Word tables. Now I've opened this Word document and I've created some few tables already in this Microsoft Word document. If you haven't watched our previous video and you doesn't know how to insert tables in Microsoft Word, it's actually very simple. You simply need to go to the Insert tab, then from the Tables group, you click on Table. So from the Insert table, you simply need to hover over these blocks you're seeing here until you see the dimension of the table you want, like the 4x3, that is 4 columns and 3 rows. When you have got the dimension you want, you simply need to click in order to create the table like this one you are seeing here. I'm going to Control Z to undo that. Now let's start our calculation using this first table. This table is giving us some information about taxes and we want to get the total of this amount here. We are going to come down to this cell and you already know that the moment you are in a table in Word, you have these two contextual tabs, the Table Design tab and then the Table Layout. So if you want to do calculations in Microsoft Word, you simply need to come to the Table Design tab and then from the Data group, you click on Formula. Now when you click on Formula, it opens for you this Formula dialog box. This Formula dialog box has about 4 fields where you can work with. The first one, that's talking of formula, that's where you put your formula. In Excel, we call it the formula bar, but here in Word, we call it the formula box. So this is the formula box where you put your formula. Below is the number format. That's where you select the number format you want. And then we have the paste function. That's where you get the function you want. All these functions here. And then also the paste bookmark, which is currently grayed out. But now in the formula box here, automatically you have got this sum above. That's because when you check from here, Word has already detected that there are some numbers above this cell that we have selected, and it's assuming that we want to sum all those numbers. That's why it has given us sum above. Now, if that's what you want, like for our case, you simply need to click OK. And once you do that, you can see that our total has now been put in that cell. Now, I'm going to Control Z to undo that. Now, let's do that again. Click on the cell from the Table Layout tab, Data group, you click on Formula. So you get the sum above. Now already they have told us that these numbers are actually in dollar. But assuming you want to put the dollar on your final results, you simply need to come to the number format. You click. Then we have all these number formats here. Now it's a little bit confusing if you're just seeing it like this. But since we are seeing this one here starting with a dollar sign, we can easily know that that one is actually a currency number format. So I'm going to click on that to choose currency. Now, when you come to the paste function down here, we have all these functions that you can actually use in Microsoft Word. And we are going to see some of them, not all of them. There are actually 18 of them. The one we are using is down here, the sum. That's actually the one Word has put for us here. And it wants us to sum above. So since we have already selected it, I'm going to leave that one. Let's click OK. You can see we are now having our total with the number format applied to it. Now, I told you about the 18 inbuilt functions in Microsoft Word. I've actually summarized those functions down here. If you want to know more about all those functions, they are here, actually arranged in alphabetical order. So these are the functions that you can actually have inbuilt in Microsoft Word currently. And you can use them in your calculations when you're calculating in tables, as you can see. So you can read about it, but this is actually just a summary of those functions. And I've summarized it from the Microsoft Help. If you want to know more about all these functions, actually, you can go to the Microsoft Help and then you get to know more about all these functions, including examples of each of them. I'm going to leave a link to this on the description of this video. So let's scroll up. Now, our second example, we want to see, this one we are summing, and this time around we want to see the average of this interview. This is interview 1 and this is interview 2. So we want to get the average of the two interviews on this cell here. Now you click on the cell from the table layout tab, data group, you click on formula. Again, Word is thinking that we want to do sum, but this time around we don't want to do sum left. I'm going to actually highlight from here, leaving the equal sign, and then I'm going to delete. Now, this time around we're not going to put any number formatting, but if you want, you can come here, then you get the number formatting just the way we got it before. But I'm not going to put any number formatting for this case. You come to the paste function, you click. Now this time around the function we want is the average. So I'm going to click on average, and it has specified for us the average, but with open and close parentheses, nothing is in. So what we want to actually summarize everything from the left of this cell. So I'm going to put left. So we are getting the average of left. When you click OK, you can see you get the average of 88.5. That's the average of these two interview results. Now we have seen sum above and then average left. You can as well sum above, below, left or right. Now if you're using that method of summing or averaging or using any function on those directions, the above, below, right and left, then you are using what is called the positional argument method. Now there are actually 6 functions that you can use the positional argument on, and these are the 6 functions. Now let's scroll down a bit and we get this statistic test results example here. Now we have test 1, test 2, test 3 up to test 4 for these people here. We want to get the count of how many people are there, so we are going to count the people above. Here we want to get the maximum, and here we are going to get the sum. Let's start with the count. So I'm going to click here, then go to the table layout tab, data group, click on formula. This time around it failed to detect any direction where we want to do the calculations. So what it has done, it has just put for us the equal sign there. So we have to type everything. First of all, I'm not going to put any number format, but I'm going to come to the paste function and then select count. Now, we are going to count above. When you click OK, you can see it's giving us a count of 4. That means it's counting all the rows that is above this cell. So I'm going to Control Z to undo that. Now, let's do the rest of the calculation again, then we come and do the count later on. I'm going to start with the sum. So I'm going to click on this cell, then go to the table layout tab, data group, click on formula. This time around it has detected correctly. Sum left, that's what we want. I'm simply going to click OK. You can again come down here, and then you do the same thing. Go to formula. Again, sum above, that's not what we want. We want to sum left. So I'm going to backspace this and then type left in the parentheses, and I'm going to click OK. Again, we have got the sum of that, and then I'm going to click on this cell. Now, there's actually a keyboard shortcut that's used to repeat the previous calculation. Like the previous calculation, we have sum left. The keyboard shortcut is F4. So if I click on this cell and hit F4, you can see that it has automatically summed for us left. Now, we have already done that. Let's do the count again. I'm going to click on this. I'm going to go to the formula. I'm going to highlight all of this up to here. Delete. Come to the paste function. Click. Then come to count again. We are counting above. Now, when I click OK, this time around it's giving us a count of 3. Remember before it gave us a count of 4. It was including also the top row here. But this time around, since these are numbers and this is a text, it has detected that we want to count only the cells that's having numbers. Now let's do the maximum. I'm going to click on this cell, then come to formula, you click. We don't want to sum above. I'm going to highlight this, delete, come to the paste function, click. I'm going to select maximum, and then above, you click OK. You can see the person with the maximum result is actually Mazi with 19. Now I'm going to click on this, F4 to repeat what I've done there, tab, F4, tab, F4. Now that's actually how easy it is for you to do using F4. I've just used F4 to repeat what I've done before, the previous calculation I've done before. And this F4 works when you are using the positional argument. But also in Microsoft Word, when you're doing calculation, you can as well use cell references if you don't want to use the positional argument. So I'm going to scroll down. Here, we're going to see how we can use the cell references in Microsoft Word. Now, in Word also, there are actually invisible column headers and row headers. And it's also numbered like in Excel. This is the first column and it's called column A, column B, column C, just like that. And also for row, there is row 1, row 2, row 3, just like that. And the cell reference also works the same way it works in Excel. It is always A1, this cell is called A1, A2, this is cell C3, just like that. So put this column headers here and then the row headers here to make it easy for us to understand. Here we are going to do the same calculation we have done before, but this time around we are going to use cell references. So I'm going to click on this cell. The same way, you cannot just type equals to, then you start doing C1 plus C2 like that, the way we do it in Excel. You still need to go back to formula. So again, from the table layout tab, data group, you click on formula. But this time around, instead of using the positional argument of left, right, above and below, I'm going to use cell references. So I'm going to do backspace, 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 remove the left. So I'm going to sum from B2 up to E4. So I'm going to do sum B2, then I'm going to use column, that's up to E2. Then I'm going to close my bracket or close the parentheses. When I click OK, you can see we are getting the same answer as the one above, yet we use two different methods. This was positional argument, this is now cell reference. Now when you come below, then you try to do F4, it gives you the same answer above because this time around we are not using positional argument. So it's trying to repeat what we have done previously, but it's using the same reference that we have seen above. There's actually a keyboard shortcut that you can use to see the exact code that's written for the calculations you do in Microsoft Word. And the keyboard shortcut is Alt F9. So I'm going to highlight this and hit the Alt F9. You can see here we were using sum B2 to E2. But this time around, since we used F4, it's also getting sum B2 to E2. You can easily correct it from here, but I'm going to do it afresh. Again, if you want to go back to the cell, you use the same keyboard shortcut, Alt F9 again. It will take you back. So it's a toggle. So I'm going to backspace this, then do the same thing. You click on this cell, go to formula. Instead of sum above, I'm going to go inside the bracket and then do sum B3 to E3. Then I'm going to click OK. You can see it works also. This time around, let's see how you can edit it. So I'm going to hit F4 to repeat what I've done before. Highlight this. Now, if you don't want to use the keyboard shortcut Alt F9, you can actually right click. Then you come to toggle fill codes. Click to open it. It will show for you the formula here. So you can simply edit it. So I'm going to change this one to B4 to E4. So again, you can right click, come to toggle fill code to get it back. Or you can use the keyboard shortcut Alt F9, Alt F9, as you can see. Now, when you do that, it will not actually update automatically. You again need to right click, then come to update fill. And you can see it has updated it now. So if I hit Ctrl Z, another keyboard shortcut to update your fill is actually F9. So if you simply hit F9, you can see it has updated for us that one now. So let's do the maximum. I'm going to click here, go to formula, and then from here I'm going to highlight, delete, come to paste function. This is max. Then instead of above, I'm going to simply do max B2 to B4. Then I'm going to click OK. So now that's the maximum. Now when I come here, I want you to realize something before I go there. Let me come here. When I highlight this, then you right click, you come to toggle fill code. You can see that our function or our formula is actually put in a curly bracket. You open, put equal sign, the function cell reference, then you close your curly brackets. So I'm going to right click, come back to toggle fill to get back to the cell. Now we are going to use the same method to type everything like this. It's actually a keyboard shortcut that's used to put for us the curly bracket. that is Control F9. So when you hit Control F9, as you have seen, it puts for you the open curly bracket and then close curly bracket. That one is actually creating for you a field. So it creates for you a field. You can now type whatever you want in that field, starting with equal sign. So we want the max. You open your bracket. We want the max of C2 to C4. When you close your bracket, you need to hit Alt F9 twice for you to get back to the cell. So I'm going to hit Alt F9. The first one will open for you all the formula that's there. Then you hit the Alt F9 again, and it will get for you back to the cell, but it will not update yet. So in order for you to update, you need to hit the update key, that is the F9. You need to hit F9. And when you do that, it updates for you, and you can see. That's if you want to type everything. You don't want to go to the formula dialog box. You can do like that. Let's demonstrate that again here. Control F9 to put for me the open and close curly bracket equals to max again. This time around, I'm going to use the positional argument method. So I'm going to do max above. Then you close your bracket, hit Alt F9 twice, Alt F9, Alt F9 again, F9. That's how you can do it. Now, if you make some correction, like for example, we have already done all these calculations. Let me first resize this. I'm going to come here, tables, from the formula, do max above. So I'm going to simply come here. This time around, I'm going to type max above. Then you click OK. You can see it also works even if it doesn't just space it. You simply need to type it there. Now, if you have already done all your calculation like this, then you realize that you need to make some changes. Like for example, instead of 24 for Namaganda, I'm going to change this one to 20. And then I'm also going to come to test 4. Instead of 20, I'm going to change it to 18. Now I've made two changes. Immediately you make changes, it doesn't update automatically like in Excel. Here you need to update it. Now there are two ways. You can actually highlight the field, like for our case is this one. Then you right click, you come to update field, it got the update. Or if you want to update everything at once, you simply need to highlight the entire table. And then you hit the update key, that is the F9 key. You simply need to hit the F9 key once and you can see everything has updated. Yeah, that is it about calculations in Microsoft Word. If you haven't subscribed, please do subscribe. And if you found this video interesting, give it a like and then you share it with your friends. This is a video that we talked about tables in Microsoft Word. You can click on it, then you get to know more about working with tables in Microsoft Word. Until next video, HM&S video number 30, then we meet again. Thank you.